What's up, guys? Welcome into the Funshop podcast with Greg and Ronnie. We are streaming to you live from Los Angeles, California. What's up, Greg? Or who is this? Chucky? How you feeling today, Chucky?
I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Today is, October 29th, Wednesday, a couple of days before Halloween, so...
It's just a mask.
Says you. I'm still wearing mine. What's up, Greg? What are we talking about today? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I had a good weekend. I was at Complex Con. I feel like we could probably talk about that a little bit, maybe next week, because today we have our second guest on the program, and his name is Edward Colver. He's a artist, photographer, gentleman. And we're here today. Ed's a friend of mine. We became friends, I think it's been almost 10 years now, yeah?
Probably.
Yeah, it's like when I first moved to LA, we had a mutual friend. That we won't say much more than that, but we had a mutual friend introduce us, and we thought, she thought that you would like my office and collection. I remember you came by the La Brea store and got to see all my stuff, and then when I finally got to your house, I understood why we bonded so quickly. Because if you've seen Ed's house, I mean, it's tell us about your house, Ed.
Well, actually, I feel like a lot of people, like my friends, my audience, might not even know who Edward Colver is. So just real quick, a couple of sentences. Who's Edward Colver, and why is he important to our show?
You already did that.
Yeah, I already did. I said he's an artist and photographer.
All right, so I was doing other things and I didn't catch that, so I apologize.
That's okay.
So you go ahead. I'll stop talking now.
Yeah, no, but I think Ed and I, we bonded over collecting because we're both passionate collectors, and Ed's been doing it a little bit longer than I have, Ed's just he's probably, when I describe him, and we've talked about this because I didn't really, I grew up on the East Coast, so I didn't really get into like the West Coast punk scene, like years later. So I didn't really know a lot about the West Coast punk scene, and also Ed. But once I saw his photos, I mean, Ed, I'd say he's like the seminal like Southern California punk photographer, but. I think it's pretty easy to look up. Like if you go to Ed's Instagram, you could see all his photos, you can see everything he's done. But I think a lot of people don't know about Ed is like Ed's a professional photographer. Like it's not like he just was like in the club, just taking snapshots. I mean, he was catching some of the most interesting and intense moments of punk rock, but your career has spanned, decades, from portraits to professional studio photography. And then the thing that I became aware of, which was all of your art, like your assemblage, and then the photos that you took of that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know. How would you describe yourself, Ed?
Put me on the spot.
Yeah, really, right off the bat.
I don't know. I've done photography for over 45 years. I've never had a published phone number. I've never asked for work. And I've never ran an ad. And I've worked on over 500 records, amongst other stuff. I've done all kinds of photography. I'm basically only known for my old punk stuff. But like Greg was saying, I did studio photography and portraits of all kinds of different people. Over the years, I basically quit doing the punk stuff in early '84 when I got when I got a studio, and at that time I started shooting recording studios and post-production facilities and stuff like that, besides bands for record companies that actually paid me, things like that.
and some of those things that, because it was interesting once we became friends that I saw like everything that you had done, and
you haven't seen everything.
I haven't seen everything. That's
there
true.
We go.
He's sorry, Ronnie's.
We can put it in front of my nose. I could be Bozo.
That's why it's red.
Bozo.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So, well, I guess we could tell about a little bit about how like the things that we started with. So,
Okay, should I give my introduction? Because I mean, I feel like I'm the outsider. Like as
okay,
far as
yeah. Why don't you ask Ed some questions?
I know the least amount about Ed. Like I told you before. Like I was only introduced to Ed's work when I first saw the Romy memorial shirt, R.I.P. And I mean, excellent shirt. We love Romy, and so it's like it was a combination of a lot of things. Remember Ed right away, and also with Mishka, I think he did that. Piece of S.
piece of S.
Yeah, it's like a dookie shaped peace sign, right? With a like I think I have like a US like Uncle Sam hat or something.
Yeah.
So I was familiar with that, and then later on, it was the gas card, the epic flip gas card. I don't know.
It just flipped out of my hand.
Yeah, I'll show that real quick. That's the flip card right there.
Yeah, this is probably as far as punk iconic photo. This is one of Ed's most iconic photos, the Wasted Youth flip.
And it became one of my favorites when I found out that it was taken in Pasadena. So it's a part of Pasadena because I had lived there for a long time in San Gabriel Valley and stuff. So,
nice.
I mean, love it. So, I mean, that's pretty much like all I knew, until I came here now. And then it's like, finding, getting to know Ed on a more personal level. But his work still like, I mean, I need to do research and stuff. I went on Wikipedia, and the thing that most fascinated me, actually, I don't know if you're okay talking about this, was a little bit about your father and his career in like geography and stuff. And one of the mountains like near Mount Baldy, or one of the mountains up here is like named like Mount Culver or something. It's named after Culver Peak, named after his father. I thought that was very interesting.
It's the tallest peak on Sunset Ridge, which is right below Mount Baldy, or also known as Mount San Antonio.
Exactly. Yeah, I read, and that was what stuck out to me the most. And didn't even really get to the meat of the art and everything. But I mean, as far as that's my personal research and stuff.
I grew up and was raised in the San Gabriel Valley. My father was a forest ranger for 43 years in the San Gabriel foothills. I used to go to work with him all the time when I was a kid. And when he retired, he was in charge of a 17,000-acre experimental forest called Tanbark, which is up in the hills above Glendora. It was built by the CCC initially.
Right.
And they did acid rain studies and burn control and reforestation projects. And when he retired, besides naming the peak southwest of Mount Baldy after him, Bush Sr. presented him with the Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Award at the White House.
Yeah, it's amazing.
My great-grandfather and grandfather raised oranges in Covina.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, being Asian and knowing some of the history here, I love hearing, stuff about orange trees and, orchards and stuff that's, rich with Asian heritage out here.
They're all gone.
Yeah. It's an old piece of Southern California there.
I remember when Disneyland was built, there was orange groves and bean fields out there. There was nothing out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's entirely paved over.
Yeah, but I mean, sign of the times and everything, right? Even the McDonald's down the street from me got torn down and got turned into something else.
They all should.
It's coming.
Speaking of I think one of my favorite things in your collection is your father's desk.
Whoop.
The desk.
Must be
Isn't that
wooden.
your dad's desk?
The one by the bathroom door?
Yeah.
No.
I thought that was your dad's desk.
Nope.
Well, it's a wooden desk. Why don't you talk about? I mean, it's still a cool desk. I mean,
it's made by Harold Doolittle, which was actually the father of the pilot of the Enola Gay, which they lived in Pasadena.
Maybe that's
another little piece of. I mean, that ties in with Asian history to me too. So I mean, that's very interesting. I love anything that American U.S. history.
Santa Anita Racetrack was used as a Japanese internment.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
wow.
And I mean, I lived in Arcadia for many years. So
that when I was a kid, the facility used to still be there up in Azusa Canyon, was this tin shed and this riveted iron track that went down into the backside of the Azusa Canyon Dam, and they were designing torpedoes at Caltech in Pasadena, and then they would haul them up to Azusa Canyon behind the dam and send them down this chute to check the aqua dynamics of them.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's real stuff, man.
Yeah, no. I mean, I
stuff.
couldn't. I remember the craziest thing was I remember we were driving one time around the area, and if you look, like there's one up on, like like kind of Eagle Rock, Colorado, and then there's one almost towards Figueroa. And if you look, there's still there is the air raid sirens, which like I think you said you remember when they used to like test them and stuff, right?
First Thursday of the month or something. Creepy.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Now they use it to call me for dinner.
You know, I like to say that with the advent of the atomic bomb, it basically totally screwed up a couple of generations of people thinking they were going to just get blitzed off the map in a flash. And it made people like not care much about all kinds of things, like live for today, there's no tomorrow. You know, it really messed up a couple of generations. I don't ever hear anybody talk about that.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about.
Yeah, that's interesting to think. So you think it, made us more...
Psychology, yeah.
Huh.
Mess with people big time. I remember growing up, duck and cover, all that crap.
Yeah.
Pathetic. Sad thing.
It's really sad. But I kind of want to talk about maybe your history as a collector, because that's something that I don't think a lot of people know. I consider you a master collector. I think you've you have some amazing stuff in your collection, and kind of like my office, there's a lot to look at.
Yeah, that's
true. Is it like photos and art and all sorts of sculptures, or is it more focused towards like visual?
Well,
2D?
when I stuff, all entirely on aesthetic appeal. There was no published information about it at all.
Right.
I bought my first Gustav Stickley armchair for $5, and it had the Woodburn joiner's compass signature on the back, but it didn't mean anything. There was no information on it.
Right.
And the first information on that whole period of stuff was 1974. There was a California Design 1910 show that was put on in Pasadena, and the Princeton University exhibit of the American Arts and Crafts movement, both in 74, and that was basically the first time that stuff was documented. It was, I talked to an antique dealer. He said, "Oh, we used to break that stuff up to plank fish on," and it's like, it's the best furniture that was ever made. And what I say about it is like a tree didn't die in vain for it. My settle is, let's see, it's probably 115 years old. Wow. And it'll last forever as long as there's not a fire or termites, and it's like, most of this modern junk furniture, you're like, they make furniture out of press board, and it's like, if you creeps just put a little bit more glue in it, it would be strong enough not to fall apart. They don't even do that. It just falls apart, and it's like, people buy that garbage. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's like, I think stuff isn't made these days to pass on a generation.
Oh, nothing is planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
You buy a fan, it lasts a season, and then you trash it. You know, it's all it's good for. It's
ridiculous.
Like,
when we moved from New York, I mean, we just we've upgraded since then, but we had all our IKEA furniture, and it was like, there's no point to bring that. No. It's like we just sold it on Craigslist. And
you try and move it, it'll fall apart.
Yeah, there's no point.
Mm-hmm.
I think that reminds me of a meme I just saw. It was like an engineer speaking to like I don't know if it was the marketer or something, but the engineers, they have the know-how and stuff to make it strong and make it last.
Yeah.
But it's the marketing people, the people that are in charge of, the sales and stuff. It's like, no, let's make it a little bit weaker, like
Looks
you said.
Good at point of purchase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then you use it and it falls apart. It's obscene. For many, many years I've been saying that corporations should be forced to make a viable product. Otherwise, they're closed down for wasting natural resources, and then they should make a viable product. Otherwise, they should be closed down and sued for wasting natural resources. Like, no, you can't make this garbage. You just can't anymore. It's, that's what's ruining our planet.
I mean, I think
junk.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think about that sometimes. I remember somebody asked me the question. They're like, do you ever consider when you're making new stuff that you're just making more like landfill?
Yeah.
And it's something. I mean, but that's
blocked.
More junk. But I think that's also why there's like a big, like, especially in like the vintage clothing, there's been like a lot of upcycling, they call it, where they, take stuff and repurpose it and things like that. One thing we talk about a lot on the podcast is the local flea markets. Mm-hmm. And so, I guess, I mean, what was the first flea market you started going to here when you first started? Like, what were like the best ones or?
Oh, I remember going to the Azusa Drive-In one in probably 1968 or something.
Oh, man.
I used to find such amazing stuff. It was insane,
What are you looking for in 1968 in Azusa?
Arts and crafts stuff. I found a Grant Wood lithograph for $1.
Wow.
That was pretty cool. I just sold it to a friend of mine. But, I found a coverlet. It should have been in a museum. I sold it many moons ago, but it was, those Victorian coverlets that are usually navy blue and cream color warp threads.
I'm not exactly sure what a
Kinda
coverlet
ginghamy
is.
looking. Yeah. I found one that was brick red, forest green, navy blue, and cream color warp threads, and it was in perfect condition. And down in the corner had a big square that said "Wove by William Fissig, Richland County near Bellevue, Ohio, 1843."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no moth holes, no tears, no stains. It was beautiful. I think I paid $8 for it.
Wow. Which was kind of a lot back then, right?
Not really.
Not really.
No. That thing was worth a couple $100 at that time.
Oh, wow.
Easily.
And then what about then the Rose Bowl? I mean, I think like there was like the Rose Bowl, there was like in the heyday, right? Like 70s and 80s. Was that like the best time for the Rose Bowl? What do you think?
Well, the flea markets are always good for turning up stuff. It's always been
right.
Hit and miss and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, I lived at all the antique flea markets usually Saturday night I'd stay up all night, and then I'd be out at the antique flea markets every Sunday morning at about 5. I'd be at the PCC, the Rose Bowl, the Veterans in Long Beach, and the Santa Monica Airport. Every weekend I would be out. I totally quit going to flea markets. Be 20 years ago in January when I bought my home.
Just because you've realized you only had a certain number of space, is that?
Well,
or
it's just, being able to afford to keep collecting and no need to keep collecting. I have so much stuff, it's absurd.
right.
I have a 5-bedroom house, a 4-car garage, and I still have off-site storage, which is ludicrous. I need to get rid of that storage.
I think that's where a lot of us are headed.
Legalize extortion storage facilities. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've told you I'll help you with that. We need to get in there one day.
Yeah.
See what's in there. Because we did I think I told you, like, we did a big auction last year, and I'm doing another one this year, and anyways, we'll talk about that afterwards. I think I have some ideas. But what kind of stuff? What's the like? I'm trying to think. Like, I know you collect a lot of photography. Some like, who's your favorite? Like, what's your favorite photographers that you collect?
Mortensen.
I knew the answer. I just wanted you to say it.
I didn't hear.
William Mortensen.
Okay,
Yeah.
just one I have to look at.
Photographer.
Yeah, that you actually turned me on to his stuff. Like, that was the first time I had heard of him, actually.
Is that like portraits or like
all kinds of different
all
stuff.
different stuff?
Yeah,
stuff.
it's just really conceptual, and I guess
Occult, some of it.
Yeah, would you say avant-garde?
For its time,
For its time, yeah.
I still haven't caught up to him, in my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah, that's that I like. That's the one thing about like Ed's collection is you sort of. I mean, there's so much to learn about. I mean, that's why. I mean, it's kind of like my collection in a sense.
Yeah.
It's like where it's just like there's themes, but it's all over the place. But it kind of like all comes together and sort of a fun.
Yeah, my lifelong interest has been art, and that's all I've ever cared about. And growing up, I studied every form of applied art, like woodworking, printmaking, painting, sculpture, design. All of it. And that influenced me, and it helped me develop an aesthetic where I could appreciate this stuff. Like, I bought a pair of Frank Lloyd Wright designed candlesticks from a early house in Chicago, probably about 1905, and I bought them on Aesthetic Appeal. I go, oh, this would look good with my arts and crafts stuff. And later, about 3 years later, I found out what they were.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you still have those?
Most people that collect stuff, like, they rely on somebody else validating it before they're interested, and I never did that. I was like all over the place what I was collecting, and a lot of this stuff that I collected is just like, I think I have very good taste, and I also appreciate really bad taste. I've collected a lot of just like absurd, ridiculous, weird, funny things, and it's like you just like some of them you can't believe they exist, and it's like what the hell?
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing that sort of kept me collecting. It's just like, I mean, I guess I deal more now as a necessity, but it's like what I tell people is everything I buy is for sale. Just some things aren't for sale right now, So I'm like, because like I like at this point it's like, okay, I'm gonna buy if I like it, and then if I find something like aesthetically pleasing, I'll buy it, and just as long as I have a little. Yeah, like that little guy. Well, I was even like the beer sign behind you. Like that's something. It says like beer in the can, 45 cents. Drink the beer, keep the can. Cool. And it's just a little hand painted sign. Yeah, it's hand painted, and I mean, like, what is it really worth? Like maybe $40, $50, but it's like. Exactly, but it's like I'd rather have that than the $40, and it's like
I don't sell much stuff. I never have, but occasionally when I find stuff that it's like, oh, whoa,
Yeah. Well, that's like when I talk about like my sort of like introduction to, the collecting and flipping or whatever. I remember buying like a box of like Brady Bunch cards at a little dirt flea market.
They were what?
Brady Bunch.
Oh, okay.
But I guess they were like really rare, and I remember bringing them to the comic shop that I used to go to, and the guy's like, "Oh, these are pretty rare. Like, I'll give you $100 in credit." And so and I must have been in middle school, and so to me, it's like I probably paid $2 for the whole box, at the market, and so then I was like, "Oh wow, you can find stuff that other people like, and then sell it
at the same time,
yeah, and then sell it to buy stuff you like." Which is like, I think that that's sort of how people get into dealing, or, or you pick something up and you say, okay, well, I know so-and-so is going to like this, so I'll just trade, maybe I could trade, or I can, do something. But, I feel you on that. I mean, I'm actually where you were. I mean, I go, and like both of us actually, I mean, we go to the flea markets like every weekend. Yeah. So it's like,
I did that forever and ever and ever.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been doing it probably pretty steady for the past 4 or 5 years.
Piker.
Piker.
I don't speak French.
But it's interesting though too. Did you when you were shopping? I'm probably so. But did it get to the point where like you had dealers that would hold stuff for you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a really cool post-mortem ring with a dead black girl in it. In the celluloid, and this guy stopped me and he goes, "Hey, I've got this. You interested in that?" And I was like, "Oh, damn right I am."
Yeah. I think that's like the best part about the flea market is like when you go there a lot, and then people sort of.
I bet you everybody out there thinks I went off and died because as soon as I bought my house, I quit going. It's been 20 years.
Yeah.
Edward Colver is still alive for you guys in doubt watching the podcast. He's still here.
I had a lot of friends at the flea market. I knew all these dealers forever and ever,
Yeah. That's I'm taking I guess I'm taking the torch. I'm out there for you.
The only reason I would want to go to the flea market now is that I would possibly find objects to use in sculptures. I've done a lot of social political sculptures all using real objects. People say, "Where'd you get these props?" And it's like, that's not a fucking prop. That's a real object. Do you know what I mean? They kind of render him into prop, and it's not. And I think I used to go to the flea market, and sometimes I'd find a couple things, and I'd come home, and that afternoon I'd have 2 new sculptures that I hadn't even conceived of in the morning because of what I found and the juxtaposition of the other stuff in my studio, things like that.
Yeah, I really love the portraits of your sculptures. I wish that I could have. I hope that one day you have another show where you can show off some of the stuff in person. But
the sculptures?
The sculptures, yeah. Because I think that's one aspect of your art. I mean, I'm pretty sure your book Blight at the End of the Funnel has like most of your not most, just a few.
Way more.
Yeah, because I'd love to see that again. I know that you have it's like, because when's the last time you've had a showing of your sculpture?
The last time was at Copro Nason over in the West Side, probably 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, And I'm not too interested in pursuing exhibits.
Just
Like doing photography exhibit costs a friggin' fortune to print and frame an exhibit and stuff. It's like I'm not into it.
right.
I'm supposed to have one in Berlin, which I'm not really looking forward to because I'm not interested in traveling out of the States, kind of.
Right.
But
When's that one?
springtime sometime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my friend that's putting it together wants it to go to Paris and Milan and London also.
Wow.
We'll see if that happens.
Oh, well,
Cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
European vacation.
Yeah.
just
Berlin and back.
just demand first class. You have, I don't know. I think tall guys like you should it's like kind of a disability if you have like
Trying to fly on an airplane.
yeah,
Right.
like it's like
Dude, try being tall and 250, man. Try being heavy and tall. Yeah, you got to get the economy plus at least.
They gotta. You tell them I'm only going to Berlin if I'm flying first class,
So yeah,
business class.
I'm ready and able to help anyone in case of an emergency. Put me in the exit row, sitting across from the pretty stewardesses and
The jumper seat.
Yeah, and the exit row. That's the money. That's the money seat in economy.
One thing that one album that I think is interesting that you shot, and if you don't mind, I'd like you to tell a little story.
Where going?
Where do you think it's going?
Lewis.
Lewis?
No?
No.
Oh, good.
No, I'm talking about Insane Clown Posse,
ICP.
ICP.
Mm-hmm.
So
I didn't shoot a cover.
no,
I
you didn't shoot
shot
a cover.
press-
You shot the. Well, it ended up being used as like the inside photos, right?
Yeah, and press photos and
Press
poster
photos
and stuff
for the Great Malenko.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how was it working with those guys?
I think they were totally intimidated. One of them just gotten out of jail or prison, and they had his dread shaved off. And they had to fake him out. And I did the severed head photo where it's like holding him by the dreadlocks. That was all in camera. Just one light. I made these sort of necklaces a couple of days. I'd seen their makeup, and so a couple of days before they got there, I took a sheet of glass and laid some twine down in U-shapes, and then I took some bathtub caulking and kind of put it on there and made these sort of shredded-looking necklaces that were white that matched their white makeup. And so then I had my friend Jim reach over the black velvet background and hold their dreadlocks, and it looks like these floating severed heads.
Yeah, it's I think that was one of the coolest photos when I saw it. But then I think but then I remember you were telling me a story because that album was, I think that when it was released, it was on an imprint that was owned by Disney.
Yeah,
so it wasn't
Hollywood Records.
Yeah, Hollywood Records. So wasn't it pulled off the shelves immediately?
6 hours after release. Yeah, and then Interscope reissued it, and the first one I saw was the Interscope version, and I did all these I did all these color photos, and they were very vibrant colors. You've seen some of that studio stuff I did,
course.
And it was all in black and white, and it's like I shoot color film and black and white film entirely different. I expose it, light it entirely different. I don't shoot the same and then render it into it. It doesn't work right or look good. And these were popping colors, and they were all used in black and white. And I was like, oh my God, what did you do to my photos? And I thought, oh, they just did this to, cash in on the notoriety of it being banned or yanked and stuff. And then years later, some friend of mine boosted some out of the office of the Hollywood Records guy, and the original one, they rendered that stuff in black and white. And I was just blown away. I was just like, really?
Yeah, because I was shocked when I saw the color photos because I don't think I had seen
like the skull with the radiating light painting that I did behind it.
I mean, it was just
and then the mask with the glowing red eyes. It's all in black and white, and it looks like crap. It's all like low contrast, and it's just like, that's not what I did.
Yeah.
It's like the horrible reissues of Damage. That's not what I shot. They have these just washed out gray covers that don't even have 50% black, let alone solid black in them. It looks like crap. It looks like bargain bin junk. And it's like, that's not what I shot.
Quick question. Now, if they were edited better, like if they were like photoshopped better, I mean, could they pass, or it's like there's no way to?
What's that?
like digitally, like on a computer. You like
Which photos?
just any photo that was colored that they made into black and white.
Could you fix it or recolorize it or something?
Yeah, and
It wouldn't look the same.
It wouldn't look the same, right? Yeah.
No, you'd have to get
I don't
the
know too much about it.
film.
I was just curious if it was possible.
I talked to some clown, no pun intended, online that had actually bought my color film from my photo session with the ICP off of some art director, and he has my film. And it's like, oh, wow, it sure would be nice to get scans of those. And it's like, no response.
No
And it's
response.
like, yeah, drop dead, jerk.
Yeah.
2025.
Speaking of 2025, I don't think I realized it, but I mean, the thing about the flip photo, I mean, that's been obviously because of the guys wearing Vans has licensed it, and I think you've licensed it to Levi's.
Yeah, it took me 38 years to realize the product placement.
Yeah, that
cracks me up.
It is kind of funny to think about because it's like at the
More
time.
than a generation ago.
Yeah, but since then, I mean, I think it's probably been copied so many times by different people. And
I don't know, maybe.
And recently, attempted to copy. Yeah, it's kind of funny because Ed pointed out that the new is it the new Playboy Cardi, or is like
that new, a couple years old.
Yeah, a couple years old. They sort of they tried to recreate
my photo, and people give me grief saying I copied him, and that just blows my mind. I shot that photo in 1981 before they were born.
Well,
ridiculous.
I thought of a question.
It is.
One thing that I've noticed working with a lot of, musicians and labels over the years, like at least with Mishka, and, either having friends that did art for like an album cover or a t-shirt. I'm not saying all musicians, but I do find that a lot of musicians and a lot of like people that are in the music industry, I feel like they don't respect like an illustrator or a photographer. Mm-hmm. Like they don't think it's like almost like it's a different level than the type of artists there are. Did you ever feel that way? Like working in the industry that, and I mean, obviously in some cases with them taking your stuff and kind of just like using it however they want, that's one thing. But is that something that you've seen over the years, like that a lot of people in the music industry just like don't appreciate the art of like the cover of an album or things like that? Yeah. I mean, you don't have to name any names. I'm just wondering.
Oh, why not?
I remember, I had the privilege to see a lot of your Polaroids over the years. The ones that, are those just called is it called like a test Polaroid?
Well, that's what they were used for. It was 669 Polaroids that I was using all the time with my medium format camera. And I used to take an absurd amount just because I liked them so much.
Right.
And I did some incredible ones sometimes, and people said, "Oh, can we borrow these to use?" And I said, "Yeah, if you return them." I didn't get them back, and I'm really pissed about it.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it even was, but I lost quite a few really cool Polaroids that I wanted to keep.
Yeah, I don't lend out books or records.
I loaned somebody a book, and I can't remember who it is, and it's been about a year now, and I haven't got my book back.
Yeah.
And I've asked about 5 of my friends, "Did I loan you a book?" And they're like, "No."
Yeah.
And it's like,
Books,
I was over
music,
at a friend of mine's
movies, you
house
never
one
get
time, and I said, "Oh, cool, you got a copy of Bomb Culture by Jeff Nuttall?" And he goes, "It's yours." He'd had it for about 3 years. And I saw it.
It's yours.
I saw it in his bookcase, and it's like, "Oh, that's cool. You got a copy of that?" And he goes, "Oh, that's yours."
At least they were honest, or at least they remembered too. That's cool.
I remember.
Yeah, I think one thing about you that's super impressive is like you I guess pun intended, you have a photographic memory. I think.
I get the picture. I don't know.
I just remember I remember the first time I came over, one of the first times, and I was looking at some of your old flyers, and I was like, oh, maybe I can buy a couple of these, and I just remember at the time though, I mean, the stack was so huge, and I felt like every flyer that we went through, it's like you remembered like the show and everything about it, and a lot of it. It's just like it's
there.
Yeah. I mean,
it was memorable.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's I think I think obviously, it was funny because I was listening to some of your podcasts that you'd been on before, and one
Never
thing
listened to one.
I know, but one thing you had talked about that it kind of was interesting, and you might have told me this before, but I remember in the podcast you mentioned how at the time you were using a 50 millimeter lens because that
That's all I could afford.
But-
kind of. I didn't have any fancy equipment at all, but yeah.
But didn't you also say that size also like mimicked like the human perspective or something?
Yes.
Yeah, which I thought
no distortion. It's
Right.
It's human vision perspective. And,
Interesting.
And a lot of those people, I was 2, 3, 4 feet away from when I
Right.
was photographing them, and like some people have said, "Oh, I feel like I'm there," and it's because of that lens.
Yeah, that's
There's
really
no distortion, and it's just like, okay, I'm right. I found some negatives. I don't even remember seeing the Blackhearts, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, and they're playing on a big stage, and I was like 2, 3 feet away from her taking some pictures, photographs, and it's like, I don't even remember that. And it's like weird, and it was a big stage, and I was still like right next to her on some of these photos. It's pretty weird. It's like, wow.
well. I mean,
I shot so much for so many years, it was nuts.
Right. Yeah, it must be. We're forgetting stuff like that.
yeah, like how many shows do you think you like? How many concerts do you think you shot photography at over the years? Like 1,000?
It could be, I don't know, maybe 900,000 shows that I went to in the 5 years that I was shooting concerts.
Right.
I quit that in early '84.
Right.
People say, "Oh, our band's playing. Bring your camera." It's like, ha ha ha. Yeah, not for $1,000. No thanks.
Yeah.
And I mean it. It's like, no thanks. I did that shit.
Yeah.
And I did it from late '78 until early '84. In 1984, I got my first studio. I had a 1,800 square feet with a 22-foot high ceiling, a 12-foot square window with a rooftop outside on the second floor and west view onto the downtown, and it was really nice. But I totally changed the type of photography I was doing. I got into studio stuff and location stuff and medium format, and then later for almost 30 years I was shooting recording studios and post-production facilities for 4x5 camera. And it's like, nobody knows that. And it's like, talk about the antithesis of the punk stuff. It's like 4x5 F-22 for 1 minute exposures and stuff. And it's like, it's totally different,
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm proud of that stuff that I did, that, I did all kinds of different stuff. And it's like on social media, it's kind of amazing to me. It's like people only want to see my punk rock stuff. And it's like, hey, look at this. I'm really proud of this. This is a cool photo. Like I posted up this one of Andy Warhol where I painted the developer on the picture and then tipped it and made it run and stuff, and I made it in 1985. Got no traction at all, and I'm kind of like, this is cool.
Yeah,
it's kind of amazing to me. It's like,
Yeah, I remember that the time when I think me and Simeon had come over and we brought the cards for you to sign. You were showing us a lot of your earlier prints, and that was the first time that I saw that you had shot Andy Warhol. Well, not.
And he lived.
And he lived. Well, I forget what was that for? How did that even
Nothing.
happen?
It was just in a Stella Polaris gallery downtown LA in 1985, and I was just adamant not to get a snapshot of him. I have one that I isolated him and managed to get a picture. It looks like he was seated for me for a portrait with, in a crowded gallery. It's like, I don't like paparazzi style photography at all. It's like, so what if you got a picture of them picking their nose or climbing out of a limo? It's just like it's a snapshot. It's nothing.
Right.
I just don't like that whole style of photography, the attitude behind it. I've tried to take good portraits of people and make something that stands out or lasts, or is, when I was shooting, like you were talking about the bands not appreciating stuff, it's like a lot of times it's the photograph is the first thing anybody's going to see.
Sure.
And if it doesn't grab their attention, you're toast.
Right.
They're on to the next thing already. And a good photograph is really, really important.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, talking, I mean, I said we wouldn't really talk about the Damaged cover, but it's kind of like your most famous. I actually have I think I have the first release that you signed for me.
Oh, there we go.
I mean, obviously I didn't get it when I was in 1981 since I was only 2, but I remember, like you had mentioned, it's like, you think about it and it's like, okay, is it like, is it Black Flag or is it the photographer? You know, and it's kind of like, to me, it's like you don't really have one without the other.
A friend of mine recently said, he said, that's the first conceptual punk photograph. And it's like, oh, that's an interesting thought.
That is an interesting thought. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I don't know.
I mean, well, I think that's one thing that, you know, that kind of like is like a theme, especially when you start talking about, because, you know, and you sort of mentioned and proudly so that, you know, it's not trick photography, it's not Photoshop, it's nothing that done after. It's like I feel like most of the stuff that you've done throughout the years, it's all been in camera effects.
Oh yeah.
And you've sort of like, you know, I mean, I'm guessing probably a lot of trial and error and just also just like studying the craft and learning how to, you know.
A lot of that wasn't trial and error. It was just creativity and knowing what I was doing. I did it. You know, I worked so much that I knew what I was doing. I knew what my equipment would do. I never got all fancy about equipment. I had just a normal 35 with a 50 millimeter lens, a little hot shoe flash on it. You know, and then I got into medium format, and I had a Speedotron 2400 pack and 5 lamp heads and extensions and soft boxes and all that kind of studio stuff. But it was like, you know, I could set up and like this friend of mine, he was always kind of shocked. I'd set up to do like, I'd light something and I'd do a time exposure with available light and combo with a strobe light and do some light painting, and it would come out, you know, like first try basically, because I knew what the hell I was doing. I did it so much. Like he was like, oh, whoa, that worked. And I was like, I thought it would. You know, that kind of stuff.
So you could kind of
photography.
So you could kind of imagine it, like you sort of could imagine it in your mind when like you were like, okay, if I do this and I do this, it's going to look like this, and then it usually did.
Because I knew the equipment and the stuff and the film, and so, you know, I was usually pretty close to being spot on without doing a bunch of guesswork.
You're a genius.
Well, I guess
it's like I was creative because of my art background. A lot of people aren't creative, and my thing to problem solving or being creative is like, okay, what's the initial concept? What's everybody going to think of first? And then I would look at it like that, and it's like, okay, that was my first thought, so I'm going to go 180 and do the opposite of that. And that was how I problem solved all the time. I was like, oh no, I'm going this way because the crowd's going that way. You know, just the initial thought, it was like, okay, what can I do that's totally different than that?
Yeah.
That's some great advice. I like that idea.
I feel like that's kind of like, I mean, I don't know too much about punk, but I feel like that.
No,
like
but I mean, just
think
think about that in anything. I mean, just think about
it's
like
applicable to everything.
Your first thing that you think, and then you're like, okay, well, yeah, it's like I had that happen to me. I don't know. It's kind of a funny story. I don't know. Did I show you that Mishka?
Kind of the operative word.
Kind of the operative word.
I'm sorry.
But you know, so we had the opportunity to design the label for a mushroom chocolate company.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Remember that? And like my first thought was like, oh yeah, like I want to make like a wizard turning like the mushrooms alive. And then, you know, I had my designer do it, and then I sent it to him because at first they said do whatever you want, and then I sent it to them, and then they were like, accept that. Because they had been dealing with like these other companies that were like selling kind of like this fake psilocybin, and that was like he showed me like 2 other brands that had like a wizard.
Oh, really?
turning the mushrooms. So, you know, it goes to your point where I was like, oh, this is a cool idea. And then it was obviously the most obvious idea.
Yeah.
But, you know, but then actually it was cool because then we turned the art into a sticker. And, you know, the art was based on these stickers called Bakuriman that were these little stickers that would come in chocolate wafers in Japan in the 80s. And it's a pretty funny story because like kids got so insane about it that they started collecting the sticker, and so they would just open it up and like throw the cookie on the ground. And so there was this, you know, I guess my friend told me there's like these news articles where there would just be like stacks of like, you know, outside the convenience stores, like stacks of like chocolate cookies, and like the government actually had to make like they're like,
quit putting cookies in the package.
Yeah, like please don't waste the food, please eat it, like don't, you know. And so
that's weird. Really.
It was totally weird, yeah. Another photo that struck me, and I don't even know how much you might have posted it, but I remember when we were looking through your Polaroids, one that really struck me was one of Eazy-E. And if I remember the story correctly, he had some kind of he had a prosthetic on, and because you were saying that you were going to shoot the cover, and it was like kind of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type deal.
Yeah, that was their concept of doing a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and he had some prosthetic makeup on and stuff in the photos. That was on priority, I think, and it never got.
Right.
It
How
never happened.
How soon did he pass after that? Do you recall?
I don't recall.
Yeah.
It wasn't too long, probably.
Right. Yeah, because I think it's interesting when I started to see like different people, especially you've shot like Snoop Dogg, which is didn't you shoot him when he was shooting the Dogfather album?
Yeah. They used my photograph in Dogfather, no credit, permission, or payment. Got sued settled outside of court, and now they used it again. So there's something pending there.
Maybe they just got so much money to burn, I guess.
Yeah, or stupid graphic designers that don't bother to look up what they're using.
Oh, I mean, that's, we see that all the time, especially, now, because, especially now, a lot of the younger designers, they don't go for reference. They don't go anywhere past what they can find on the internet. And so
what do they think? Everything on the internet is public domain, so they could just
I don't know. They
Right.
must, because sometimes it's just like it's so obvious. They just rip people off, and it's almost like hey, like go like it's like if someone wants to do something in your style, it's like why don't they contact you and at least either say like, hey, shoot it, or
they don't know I took the photo. I'm sure.
Yeah,
they don't bother to do
problem.
the research either.
Like when my wife Karen got me an iPhone about probably 12 years ago, my attorney and a friend of his we kind of started this little T-shirt company, which was a waste of time, called California Casualty. And Mike, the guy that was helping, set up a Facebook account. And then when Karen bought me an iPhone, I got onto Facebook, and I swear every time I logged on, I'd see my photos with no credit. I was blown away. This stuff was everywhere, and I had no idea. I've never been on a computer. I don't Google search anything. I've been on an iPhone and an iPad, but it's like, I was just like, my stuff is everywhere with no credit. People know my photos. They don't know I took them.
right.
And that's pretty aggravating. The new book project that I'm working on will help solve that.
Yeah, I think that's the and I hope that I know you did a project at the Punk Rock Museum a couple, like, was it this year or last year?
This year.
This year.
Yeah,
and
April I think it just came down, the exhibit.
Yeah.
Is that in LA?
That's in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lost wages.
Lost wages.
Why is Las Vegas important to have a punk museum there?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Well, I actually heard that the city, they actually have a budget to like
promote stuff.
People that actually want to open museums in Vegas. So because I was talking to someone else about it that wanted to like open like a toy museum or something, and that's why like there's the pinball like hall of like the pinball museum or like the haunted
Hall of
Museum.
Fame.
There's like a gangster one, but it's like as long as you call it a museum or you curate it, it's like I think you either give there's like a budget, they give you money, or there's like tax breaks and stuff, because obviously the thing about Vegas, and we're talking about that because we're going in a month to Designer Con, and
who's getting conned?
me,
we are
definitely, yeah,
Getting retconned.
and it's like I don't know, I've been to Vegas so much at this point that like I hate the whole casino thing. Like I mean I do like to gamble,
really
but yeah, I mean it's fun. Like Fremont Street's fun because there's just like a ton of weirdos out there, and like people just they'll do. I think like one it's like as you walk down, there's like all these entertainers, and it's like first it's like black Mike, it's like Thriller Michael Jackson, and then like white Michael Jackson. Thriller. And then it's like, and then you have like dwarf Michael Jackson.
Oh, God.
So it's like they have the whole gambit there of like
a friend of mine, a photographer, he has a picture of 4 Elvis is having breakfast together in a booth together.
Oh, that's so
It's
funny.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know what cracked me up is everybody that impersonates Elvis is the later garbage with the white jumpsuit and everything, and it's like nobody does the early Elvis when he looked cool, but no,
Yeah.
the Vegas lounge act look was pretty lame.
Well, I think it's easier to be out of shape than to get into shape. And
I'll get in shape. I'll do the young Elvis. I'll get
Do
in
the
shape
young
and do the
Elvis.
young Elvis. I think I could pull it off.
Yeah, you might be able
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I got to get my hair re-dyed and then get it done up, and I think I could pull it off.
Yeah.
I don't know how to.
You got to like learn all the moves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Did you see the Elvis movie that like came out?
No, I did
recently?
not.
I liked
did
it.
not.
You
Okay.
didn't see it, did you?
Nope, missed that.
Missed it.
Gladly.
Not an Elvis
not
fan.
Interested. No,
No.
not at all. He did
Yeah.
a couple of great singles on Sun, and other than that, have you ever heard Old Shep? One of the worst songs ever fucking recorded on the planet.
And that's an Elvis song?
Oh yeah.
I know what I'm googling after the show.
Old Shep.
Old Shep.
Oh wow. Well, you know what it was like I think what I realized is I never really knew too much about Elvis.
Right.
And because I didn't sort of live during it, like it's to me he's like more of an enigma of sorts, even though he was like one of the most popular musicians like in the world, because it's just like I just never followed his career. So the movie is just interesting to me because especially like learning about the Colonel and stuff. I mean that guy was like such look out for that.
Yeah.
But
And I feel like our generation, if any of the, there's either like the Elvis crowd or the Beatles crowd, and I feel like for our generation that came after, we're like, our parents were more like Beatles crowd people, so we got more of the Beatles, at least from my perspective.
Never
That's
a fan.
I don't
speaking from my my life.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Too pop.
Yeah, I think too.
George Martin was the creative genius behind what they did.
Right.
He had knowledge of other types of music and everything. He was a big contributor that doesn't get credit.
Right.
He really helped form what they did.
Right.
Yeah.
But nah.
I
love Yoko Ono's early music though.
Okay.
What's like the best Yoko Ono album?
I like them, all the early ones.
Really?
Yeah, Fly. That's amazing. There's a one that has the. Oh, that was so much fun. That she did a song called Why. She was kind of using her voice like Ornette Coleman's kind of free jazz style, and this song called Why, where she just screams why in all kind of different alliterations of it, just like loud, just
different
screaming
tones
why. And actually the band is some of the coolest stuff. Like I'm not a fan of any of the Beatles, but like Klaus Borum's playing bass and Ringo's drumming and John Lennon's playing slide guitar on it, and it's like, wow, these guys are really doing something cool. Like, and I remember I was working a night shift at Mattel Toy Company in City of Industry when I was like in the summer when I was going to junior college, and I went out to breakfast with some friends from work, and on the jukebox they had that song by Lennon, Mother, I think it was.
Okay.
And at that time they were only doing pictures where they were kissing, and they would put out the singles and stuff. And so on the flip side of Mother is Why by Yoko Ono. And
So it was on the jukebox?
Yeah, and I was like, oh. So I dropped 2 quarters.
Oh, man.
And so it played twice. The whole place was losing their mind. It was so funny. As soon as it was done, it started over. So there we go.
Oh, God.
I love that. That song is incredible.
Another one to look up. Old Shep and Why.
But one part of that story that I'm really surprised. So what were you doing at Mattel?
Initially, when I first started working there, I was supplying the production line with parts and stuff. And I was like all organized, clean, meticulous. They'd bring tours by where I worked.
Really?
Because it looked so nice. Yeah,
What properties do you remember working on? Anything fun? Like,
well, they were making dolls and Hot Wheels and stuff.
Right.
Like I could have retired if I pocketed Hot Wheels.
Right.
Jesus.
oh yeah.
I was sweeping them up, throwing them away.
Oh,
I wasn't interested in any of that crap, and I was just, they'd go on the floor, they'd probably scratch. I just toss it.
Wow.
And then I was driving a forklift, and I remember they had this toy called Toot Sweet or something that they had flavored Tootsie Rolls, and you could make a whistle out of them or some crap. So I was driving the forklift, and I had a bag of those on there, just eating those all day long. It was pretty funny.
whistling.
I wasn't.
No, just eating them. Oh yeah. Just I thought you were like driving the forklift, and they're like, "What's all that noise?" That's cool though. That's a crazy, because I mean, thinking about that now, like, I mean, just like you said, like one you could have had some weird like color or prototype that like never came out, and
maybe
no, some of those, I mean, some of those go for like, I think I was seeing something where some guy bought one for like 30 or 40. No, it was like I think it was like $100,000.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
for a Hot Wheel.
For a Hot Wheel, yeah.
My favorite chocolate bar.
Fool and their money are soon parted. Wow.
Now I bet you there's some kid in China now with a pocket full of them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
because they're all getting made in China now.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how the Chinese Hot Wheels. Yeah, probably the American ones are.
I don't know. You're just gonna have to take my word for it.
I believe you.
Didn't those things just fly off the track all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think also, like that, it's interesting because, that's when you start to talk about collectibles, it's like, I feel like, like it's almost like how you said that you would just sort of buy what kind of spoke to you. It wasn't really about like the value and stuff. And I think that's the problem now with like collecting.
Well, if it says collectible, it's not.
Exactly.
And it says limited edition, limited to 30 billion of copies?
Yeah.
It's like, if it says collectible, it's not.
Yeah. Right.
I swear to God. It's just like, you got to be, this is collectible.
And it's,
like those stupid plastic cups with, artwork on them from the hamburger shop.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
use garbage.
I use mine for like my pens.
Yeah, what's that one?
That's a Black Panther from 7-Eleven.
But that's from the 70s or 60s, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be like
77.
It's not collectible.
Yeah, no, I mean that's why I just use it for like my pens and stuff.
It's like the old throwaway
like I was saying
stuff.
earlier, a lot of people, they have to have stuff validated before they'll show interest in it.
Right.
And that's kind of just ridiculous. Like, in the 70s, like I knew people that like they were collecting stuff, then they would publish a book and then raise the value, and then they'd dump all the crap they collected. They were doing that a bunch in the 70s and early 80s and stuff, and it's like, I guess that makes sense, but it's like it had to be validated. And like, I never collected like that.
Yeah.
Never did.
No, I mean, I probably only did when I was collecting Mr. T, because I was like trying to get everything Mr. T,
I can understand that.
But after doing that, because like before that, I never sort of collected any like one thing. It's like I collected toys, but it was more, like just interesting, like weird stuff, or like, my brother, who's 20 years older than me, when I started collecting, he was buying like a lot of the battery operated toys that he either wanted as a kid or he had. So, like the Charlie Weaver, and like, the guy, he's like, you put batteries in and they like, they're drinking and then they pucker up, or, it's like a dice dealer, or, like an Indian playing like the drums or something. And
or the monkeys.
The monkeys. Yeah. So I was like that kind of stuff. But yeah,
we have one of those dogs that flips over like.
Right.
Oh my God, that used to just freak our dog out so bad he would go nuts.
Yeah,
he hated that thing.
I wish they'd make more those type. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, I guess they got to make toys for kids, but I mean, those were always my favorite. Like I even remember as a kid, like in the 80s, like you would just go to the mall and they'd have all these like battery operated toys, and they'd all have them on, and they would just be like running around and stuff.
The penguins going up the thing.
Oh yeah,
sliding down.
The penguins going. It was like one of those perpetual, kind of, toys. And
I was in an ad for one of those when I was a kid in Taiwan.
You were?
Yeah, for the train set with the thing that would flip over when it ran over. I'll show it to you.
You were on the box, or you were just in an ad?
I was in an advertisement, yeah.
Like for a circular, or like for the company's catalog?
Yeah, I think it's for the company's catalog. I'll show it to you next time.
Ooh, that's a collectible.
It's an interesting thing.
That's a collectible right there. Find little baby Ronnie in the playing with the penguins.
Want to remake the photo next year? Yeah, me playing with it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Edward to take the photo for us.
Is there anyone make any comments? Is there any questions?
No. The Dodger game was on, so
okay. So everybody's kind of like
I figured they're watching the Dodger game or whatever. I mean, priorities, right? I mean, that's what I would be doing if we didn't have a podcast. We're watching the World Series. I think the Dodgers were
You know
down
what?
2-0.
I'll have to mention now that you said that it is so ludicrous that they call it the World Series. It's our country's series. It's not the World Series. It's like, what the hell is with
He's
that
right.
World Series? What the hell are you talking about?
That's true.
It's really weird.
It's marketing.
Right. It's just,
There
Doesn't
was-
make any sense at all. World Series.
On
Continental U.S.
on the same type of theory and on the Amazing Stories, the 80s TV, they had a Miss Universe. They were doing the Miss Universe pageant, and a whole bunch of different aliens came down to compete in it because they're like, it's the Miss Universe pageant, so they want to do that. But the same thing, you're absolutely right.
That's pretty funny. Well, that's been an hour. So in case you want to be
we're
here,
outta here.
in case you want to be here another one, then we can probably wrap it up. So
And anything you want to add?
well,
Edward?
just
Ed?
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
For coming out. I know it's great to have you in the fun shop, and I hope you had fun. And yeah, everyone. Well, how do people find you if they want to see your art and catch up with you have the Instagram, right? Is that where you're mostly active?
Yeah.
So Instagram, you can see stuff, and
I've been
then
seriously thinking about closing my Facebook account down.
yeah, it's probably pointless at this point. And then if people want to buy, I think the Morrison Hotel, right? Or Morrison, what's it called?
Morrison Hotel
Yeah,
Gallery.
Morrison Hotel Gallery. They actually sell your prints there.
Okay, we'll throw up links for
Of
that.
some of your
or through my website.
or through-
Yeah, my old friend, photographer Henry Dilt, started that. He's the one that shot the Doors Morrison Hotel album covers.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And so he started that gallery with a couple other people. I think they sold it recently, though.
So so we'll put all the links in the comments.
Yeah, I'll find them.
and,
Yeah, we'll put the links up there for sure.
So thank you again, Ed. Appreciate it. And
It was fun.
don't forget to like and subscribe and make a comment. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, happy Halloween, guys.
Happy
We'll see you next week. We got
Halloween.
Terry Stroud talking SDCC, and we'll get more into our weekend grabs and get ready for DesignerCon. All right, thanks so much, guys. Peace.